spent the weekend in Akihabara. If you don't know already, Akihabara is a part of Tokyo that's considered to be the capital of everything manga, anime, and otaku geek culture related. And it really is. It's got everything from, manga and anime themed cafes, maid cafes, young girl idol group performances, figurines shops, the gacha toy dispensaries, pretty much everything that your otaku would fall in love with. But it's funny because I actually interned at Viz Media in San Francisco, and they're in charge of taking a lot of the major Japanese manga and anime and putting it out in English. But to be honest, I'm not really into manga and anime. I know, gaijin in Japan, shocker, right? So why did I stay in Akihabara for a weekend, and is there anything for non-otakus to do? Let's go back a few months. It started a couple months ago. One of my colleagues is in charge of doing some marketing for a new hotel, the Nohga Hotel Akihabara. It's their second location. Their first is in Ueno, and they just opened. So anyways, there was one day where a photo and video shoot involving some non-Japanese was scheduled, and I came to help out with that. I even got to be in the background of some shots. But because I helped out and because a few people follow me on Instagram, I was invited to actually experience staying there. And that brings us to where we are today. One cool thing about this Nohga hotel line is they're really focused on the idea of local. A lot of the products they use or decorate rooms with are from the nearby areas. Ueno with Ueno neighborhood items, Akihabara with Akihabara. Even the video playing on the hotel room TV isn't the typical see Japan or see Tokyo video, cue the Shibuya Scramble crossing or the Shinjuku skyline with Mount Fuji in the background. It's 100% real Akihabara. In Akihabara itself, even if you're not trying to spend a lot of time there, is a convenient place to stay. I've stayed in the area before I moved to Tokyo myself. I'm not being paid to say this, but I think the Nohga Hotel is a pretty good option to consider. One thing that I learned when I was working on the shoot from talking to different staff is that they genuinely care about their job there and the hotel's brand, and I think that's huge. So the first thing we did was grab lunch downstairs. Everything was good, but I really liked their brick oven pizza and craft cola. And then we explored Akihabara. You don't even need to seek it out, you just walk outside and you're suddenly thrown into that otaku vibe of the city. As a friend who visited Tokyo put it, you don't really notice that Japan has a low birth rate problem, but visiting Akihabara and looking around, it starts to make sense. Pretty straightforward, but I get what he's saying. Girl idol photos from a vending machine for $5 to $20. This whole lineup of gacha toy dispensers. That's pretty cool actually. Our first stop though was a Kissaten, or coffee shop. Akihabara is in the greater Kanda area of Tokyo, which has a bunch of them along with a lot of ramen and curry shops. This one, Vault Coffee, was up a tiny elevator on the 3rd floor of an old building. Nothing fancy, just some good dark coffee. In the 1920s, radio component merchants began to prosper in Akihabara, and in the 50s, there was a lot of vinyl record shops that popped up. And this eventually evolved into shops for home electronics, audio equipment, vinyl records, and that's kind of how it became a hub for electronics and pop music culture that it is today. The shops are interesting to browse, even though you might not be into that kind of stuff. I'll geek out for Star Wars though. So we made our way to Manseibashi. It's an old train station that's been converted into a shopping alley under the tracks for kind of smaller and lesser known designers. There's also a motto of how Akihabara used to look back in the day when the station was still being used. We came here for Hitachino Nest, probably one of the most well-known Japanese craft breweries overseas, and they got that cute little owl logo. Not many people know this, but they also started making whiskey, so I wanted to try it. It tastes a little fruity. It's like light and kind of sweet.
あの女の子に尽くしてる、優しくしてるつもしないでしょ。
It's okay.
優しくない？ジェントルにしてるのに君が
I don't think I would buy a bottle for more than 3,000 yen.
ごめんね、私があなたを付き合うべきじゃない。
I'll stick with the beer. Good. And then it was time for dinner. This place can be pretty tough to get a reservation at, so we were pretty lucky. But we ate at a yakiniku restaurant called Namaiki. It's a 3-star popular spot on Japanese review app Ready. So in other words, locals in Japan also think it's good. And damn, it really was. I usually take friends and family visiting to eat yakiniku because I think it's one of the best meals that you can have while eating in Japan. I'll have to put this place on the list because it was amazing. I really just couldn't get enough.
It's so good.
The next day, we ended our Akihabara stay by visiting Kanda Myojin Shrine and another Kissaten. The shrine is popular for business people to head to on New Year's as it's for business prosperity. The Kissaten, called Otsu, is right next to it. It's a 2-star popular spot on that app Ready, and it's a very quiet coffee shop, not too big. People just go here to read and sip their coffee. So that concluded my Akihabara staycation, and the answer is yes, there are things to do even if you may not be super into manga and anime type of stuff. I'll put everything about this experience and maybe some more information in the link in the description below, so check that out if you're interested. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you're not already. I am really thankful if you do, and I'll see you in the next one.